Alright, game's finished.
Oh sweet, did you kill all the bosses?
Yeah, all 10.
10? 10?
Wait, were there more than that?
Ladies, gentlemen, and tarnished of all ages, the world of Elden Ring is very large, but simultaneously surprisingly densely packed. It feels like you can't travel more than 30 seconds in this game without coming across some sort of cave or dungeon or optional boss or NPC who wants to converse with you or affect your world in some way. In an open world without any objective markers of a kind, there is some sort of objective around every corner. And if you haven't looked around every corner, then you may well have missed a few of the more important or interesting fights in the game so far. Today I will be going over 8 optional and obscure bosses that you need to make sure that you don't miss in Elden Ring. I'll be going in order of which region that they are in, and for each one I will start with their location before showing or talking about the boss themselves, in case you just want to trust me and do the bosses without any spoilers. However, since this is a video about the bosses, I will spend a little bit of time with each boss with the boss on screen, telling you why I think you should go and do it for anyone that needs a little more convincing. Without further ado then, first up is right at the beginning of the game, at least the first time that you see it. It's the first enemy that you actually see, the one that kills you, almost definitely, at least it killed you, and then you respawn in the cave. However, you can go back to this enemy after the fact if you go to Liurnia, and then head to the 4 belfries and find the Waygate of Awakening to the southeast, and be mesmerized at glorious teleportation to the very first opening area of Elden Ring, where you will find the boss that I guess I might as well show you because you all saw it as the first enemy of the game, the Grafted Scion. This thing has a lot of hands and it really wants to hurt you a lot. When you kill it though, it will drop its shield and its sword, and they're both pretty cool. The main thing about this is pretty cool is the fact that this is the enemy that will get the first kill on 95+% of players. So if you want your revenge on the first thing to take your life in this game, this is how. Secondly, we have a boss who shows up after you do the Festival of War as part of the Rainy questline. Technically speaking, the Festival of War boss itself is also optional, even though the boss involved drops a great rune, so while not on the list because it is a common questline, he is still an optional boss that you do need to do. In any case, after you defeat that boss in this massive open desert section of Caelid, you will be left in, well, the massive open desert section of Caelid. You probably immediately thought, well, that's that, and walked away, right? Well, you should have another look. Specifically, go as north as you physically can, reaching the very edge of the shoreline of this scary Red Sea that I have no desire to say hello to at all. Here you'll find the War Dead catacombs. Inside of here, there is a door that holds a boss quite close to the entrance, but to get it open in the first place, you need to flip a switch. The fastest way to get to the switch is to run forwards past the fighting, up the staircase on the right, then follow that path past the archers until it turns right, follow it until it turns right one more time, then jump out the window on your right once again. From here, go up this flight of stairs on your left and then out another window. Then the lever will be on your left, ready for the pulling. From here, drop back down to the main foyer and head forwards to the now open door. At the bottom of this hallway is a boss that is quite difficult. Generally, the best way to describe how hard something is without telling you what it is the reward for beating it. So this one is a 64k rune reward boss. And also, you get a legendary summon, if that's something you're into, which of course you should be. Now to show the boss itself on screen, it is one of the putrid tree spirit bosses in Elden Ring. There are others like this out there, but none that I have fought yet that are quite this tough to best. His pin attack is a one-shot even at my 38 vigor, and most attacks do more than half of my health too. He will try to inflict Scarlet Rot upon you, and his body is surprisingly flexible and malleable, and he will absolutely use that to his advantage. The main thing that makes this boss fight cool really is just how ridiculously out of the way it is, and the reward that you get for completing it. Third, then, is a boss that is located at the bottom of the Divine Tower in the Caelid region. Yes, the bottom of the Divine Tower. If you don't know what I mean, there is a relatively lengthy parkour path to get yourself down there safely that you wouldn't even really think was worth trying unless you knew that there was something down there. Thankfully, this is Elden Ring, so obviously there is something down there. Follow the path that I've been showing on screen right now, careful not to overjump, obviously, and then claim yourself this Site of Grace at the bottom. After this, there will be a single enemy guarding a boss fog door. This boss, when defeated, drops a legendary sword, the Godslayer sword, as well as even more runes than the last boss, so you know that this one really means business. That said, while these two bosses are the earliest accessible in the game on this list aside from the tutorial boss, they are more than likely the hardest of the bunch as well, so keep that in consideration. Now about to show the boss itself on screen, it is a Godskin Apostle enemy. There are more than one of this in the game, but this is the only one likely to kick your ass a bit before you kill him. This one has super beefed up numbers, and it has an attack that seems to trigger as an automatic reaction to you using an item. In other words, when you heal, he throws magic at you. On top of this, he is incredibly quick and nimble, darting around the room in a brief moment, and when he hits his second phase, he gets a bit more brutal as well, adding a lot more range to his attacks and more variety to his moveset in general. Fourth on this list, moving on to the Altus Plateau region and beginning in the Sage's Cave. This cave is located northeast of the abandoned coffin Site of Grace, and it has a number of illusion walls inside, which may clue you into the fact that there is a hidden boss in this cave as well. There is a normal boss, of course, but if you go through an illusion wall after you enter the final chamber of the cave, and then through a second illusion wall that is hidden beside two chests, then you'll find the second boss of the cave. Upon death, he drops the family head's flail weapon. The boss who I am now about to show on screen, so look away if you wish, is Necromancer Garrus. This magic wielder fights with a flail made of skulls and what is clearly a snail made of bones, which is somehow one of the coolest things that I've ever seen in my entire life. This boss isn't particularly hard at all, but the fight is really unusual, completely out of the way as the hidden second boss within a random cave, and he gives some pretty cool loot. Fifth up then is a little ditty over closer to the capital city, not quite in the borders yet, don't worry, no, not this one. This happens at the Minor Erd Tree in Altus Plateau. Normally at these trees you'd find an Erd Tree avatar boss. These are extremely common bosses and exist for a specific purpose of guarding these trees. However, at this tree, the specific one, for whatever reason, there is no Erd Tree avatar. The boss that lays at this tree still drops wondrous physic flask mixtures, however, so this is a place that you probably want to go if you want to collect all of those, if nothing else. Showing the boss itself now on screen, their name is Wormface. Put simply, this is an absolutely massive version of the littler worm-headed guys that are around the forest. Of course, giant also means more pixels and therefore higher detailed wormy face. So, you know, keep that in mind before you come here. This boss will apply the death status to you, so make sure that you avoid letting that build up the whole way, either by masterful dodging or just pure aggression. Either way, you'll get the job done. Sixth then today is another boss in the Altus Plateau, this time all the way at the tippy top of Mount Gelmir. A short hop, quite literally, from the boss is the 9th Mount Gelmir campsite. If you don't have this, find your way to the Bridge of Iniquity Site of Grace in the north of Altus Plateau. Then watch the cliffside on your left for a big ladder. Continue forwards, watching for more big ladders on a straightforward path to our goal today. I can't really show you what it drops without spoiling the boss, so know that it is a really big hammer with a gravity-based Ash of War. Moving on to the spoilery section now, the boss itself is called the Fullgrown Falling Star Beast, and this thing packs a wallop, as well as having quite a chunky health pool too. This thing is really fun to fight, really taking advantage of its specific arena and the shape of it to make you find interesting ways to dodge its combos. And that weapon that I mentioned earlier, oh right, it's its goddamn severed jaw! Pretty cool, huh? Seventh on the list, and while this one itself is in the Altus Plateau region, if you want to do the questline that leads to it the proper way, you will have to go to the zone that is unlocked after finishing Lane Dell, the capital city. So if you have not done that yet, turn away from the video now. Those who have, this boss is related to the Volcano Manor questline. While you can kill this boss through brute force, going to its location yourself beforehand, it closes off a questline of the game, so I will instead be showing you the full questline route of unlocking it. First, you need an invitation to Volcano Manor. Get this from this location in Liurnia. A woman will be there asking you to complete a short task for her. Complete it and she will meet with you again atop the grand lift of Dectus entrance of Altus Plateau. Talk to her to be brought over to Volcano Manor. From here, talk to the NPC that starts beside the Site of Grace, join the Covenant, though know that this does have a bit of lore implications. If you want to continue anyways, follow the instructions to go to the room down the hallway to grab a letter telling you to assassinate someone in Limgrave. The letter puts an extremely accurate marker on your map, making it very easy to find. When you arrive at the marker, you will find a red summon sign on the floor. Use it and kill the NPC on the other side. After this, return to Volcano Manor and talk to this NPC again. Go collect a new letter with a new target and a new location, this time down in the Valley of Altus Plateau. Repeat the process, summon sign and kill NPC, return to the manor, get one final letter, and follow it to the mountaintop of the Giants, northwest of the ancient Snow Valley Runes Site of Grace. Kill this final NPC and go back to Volcano Manor and talk to the main NPC one final time to be granted an audience with the Lord of the Manor, who, by the way, is a great rune boss. So yeah, if you wanted one reason to kill him, that's the main one. The other ones? Well, for that I have to show you the boss itself, and so now I will. This is Devouring Serpent. Upon walking into the room for the first time, you will find a weapon on the ground that has an Ash of War specially created for this fight and this fight only, that only works in this room, and unsurprisingly, is the best weapon that you could ever ask for this fight. And so, no matter your build, you probably should use this weapon. This fight definitely does not have two phases. I don't know what you're talking about. However, if there were a super cool transition to happen somewhere, I would definitely not spoil it in this video, even in this section. I wouldn't. This boss is absolutely worth doing for any Elden Ring player, trust me. It is essential to the experience. Just like the final boss that is on today's list, who you can actually find in 4 separate locations in Elden Ring, because he is simply that powerful. The first time you fight him, he is weak. The second time, he is also weak. The third time, he is also somewhat weak. The fourth time, he's actually pretty weak too. Sorry. Regardless, I view fighting every instance of this boss as a requirement of saying that you have finished the game, saying that you have finished Elden Ring. Now to let the cat out of the bag here, the boss in question I will now show you on screen is the Tigress Mariner. Yes, the Tigress Mariner. I know, but come on! He's so lovely and endearing, he wants nothing from you. He offers barely any resistance, and he just wants to summon his friends. This gentleman sails around in this tiny little boat using a horn as a paddle, blowing it occasionally for reinforcements. The first place that this boss is located is in Limgrave, in the Summon Water Village. A pretty apt name, honestly. The second one is in Liurnia, at this location, which is just a short trek south of the Artist's Shack. The third Tigress Mariner is at the Wyndham Ruins in Altus Plateau, which is just north of the Erdtree Gazing Hill Site of Grace. The fourth and final Tigress Mariner is in the mountaintop of the Giants, at this location just a bit northwest of the Snow Valley Ruins Overlook Site of Grace. This one technically isn't a boss, as fighting it does not make a boss health bar fall down on your screen. However, he is undeniably a Tigress Mariner, and thus he is a boss in my heart. Alright everyone, I've been Cotton Dinosaur, and this has been 8 bosses that you absolutely need to find in Elden Ring. I wish you all the best of luck killing them, and remember, if you are struggling at all you have to do is get good, or get a magic laser. Either way. Like if you like the video, subscribe and hit the notification bell for more, and most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, stay sweet. Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.